Your head won't stop talking even when your mouth does. You replay the words you said, the ones you didn't, and the ones you wish had landed differently. But tonight, God invites you into a deeper quiet, the kind where you stop rehearsing and start receiving. The courtroom in your mind can rest now. The defense no longer needs to speak. The judge has already ruled mercy. The cross already carried your burden. The verdict is grace. Let the Spirit speak for you now. Be still. Your peace doesn't depend on saying everything right. It depends on the one who is always right beside you. In this sacred silence, we come to the end of our speaking and the beginning of God's. Psalm 19:14 whispers to your soul, "May these words of my mouth and this meditation of my heart be pleasing in your sight, Lord." And what if your meditation is messy? What if your heart feels tangled with regret, confusion, or fear? Even in that, God meets you with compassion. You lie awake wondering, did I offend them? Did I say too much, too little? Your mind replays every awkward goodbye, every misunderstood moment, every silence you now wish you had filled. But God's message tonight is this: you are not your last conversation. You are not the opinion someone formed of you in passing. You are not the echo of your awkward goodbye or your silence in a hard moment. You are His. You are seen, known, and deeply understood by the God who formed your inmost being. He is not tallying your mistakes. He is tracing your intentions with compassion. Even now, as your head touches the pillow, Psalm 91 and Psalm 23 stand as fortresses of peace, declaring, "You don't need to explain anymore. Come rest under my wings." Psalm 91:4 promises He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. It is not your verbal clarity that shelters you tonight. It is His everlasting kindness. The Spirit understands the sighs too deep for words. God leans into your unspoken fears, your whispered remorse, and says, "I know, I saw, I love you still." Stop rehearsing, stop justifying, stop fearing that your sincerity wasn't enough. Where you stumbled, grace has already gone before you. Where you failed, God has already forgiven. Where words ran out, love remains. It is not the right phrasing that grants you rest. It is His nearness. Pope Leo XIV once wrote, "He who listens first speaks from peace." That peace is not delayed until others understand you. It's available now, not after they forgive you, not after you fix what was said, but right here in this very breath. Let your night prayer be this: God, I've said too much and too little. I've held on to words and spilled others too quickly, but I surrender the tangle. I surrender the guilt. I surrender the echo. Quiet my racing thoughts and wrap them in your gentleness. I trust your Spirit to interpret the spaces between my sentences. Now take a breath. Let the weight lift. Let the noise inside you meet the silence of God. And in that silence find not absence, but sacred presence. A whisper from heaven settles into the stillness. I've heard you, even when you didn't know how to say it. That's the pillow for your thoughts tonight. That's the peace your soul has been craving. Let this be the night you stop defending yourself in your own mind. Leave the courtroom behind and enter divine rest. God already sees the purity of your intention, and where you failed, grace fills in the cracks. Jesus bore your missteps, and the Holy Spirit, as Luke 12:12 says, will teach you what to say when the time comes, and if the time has passed, He teaches you how to rest. Share this prayer with someone else who lies awake with noisy thoughts. Invite them into the silence of God's love. There, together, you'll find peace. What conversation have you been replaying that God is asking you to release? Can you believe that God's mercy covers even the words you regret? How might choosing silence tonight be a form of surrender to God? He will cover me with His feathers, and under His wings I will find refuge. Psalm 91:4. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. Psalm 23:1. The Holy Spirit teaches me, even in silence. Luke 12:12. You wanted to say the right thing, didn't you? You hoped your words would be a balm. gentle, wise, perfectly timed. You wanted to build, not break. But now the moment has passed, and your heart replays every sentence like a broken record. You hear your voice, the pause you wish you'd filled, the tone that came out wrong. Did they understand what I meant? Did I sound harsh? The more you revisit it, the more distorted it becomes. That's the ache of the overthinker. You want to redeem what's already past. But God's message tonight is not replay, it's release. The night prayer is not a courtroom, it's a sanctuary. You are not here to prove your intentions. You are here to receive peace. Psalm 23 reminds you that the shepherd leads you beside quiet waters, not through past conversations. His presence is not in your perfect articulation, but in your honest surrender. His mercy is not performance-based. It is steadfast, unchanging, and wrapped in grace. So let your meditations shift. Don't dwell on the mistake, dwell on the mercy. Psalm 19:14 whispers, "May the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be pleasing in your sight." What pleases God is not your flawless speech, but your willing surrender. Your racing thoughts are not the voice of truth. You are not the awkward silence, the misunderstood tone, the missed opportunity. You are His child, still beloved, still held, still seen. Lisa Bevere reminds us, there is a difference between conviction and condemnation. One draws you close to God, the other drives you away. God's conviction says, "Come closer, child. I know your heart." He doesn't say, "Go fix it." He says, "Let me carry it." Your bedtime prayer is not a speech, it's a release. It's the soul's exhale after trying too hard for too long. Lord, I've tried to rewrite the moment in my mind. I've carried the ache and the echo. You saw me. You know my heart. Forgive where I missed. Heal where I wounded. Interpret my silence. I place the memory in your hands. This is the holy surrender of the heart that can't sleep. Not forgetting, but entrusting. You don't need to be eloquent now. You only need to be open. Jesus doesn't speak to your lips tonight. He speaks to your soul. Peace, be still. That's the voice you've been waiting to hear, not your own on repeat, but God's final word of grace. T.D. Jakes said, "Don't let what's behind you torment what God has placed ahead of you." Your words, even the ones that stumbled, don't get the last say. God does, and His word is mercy. His verdict is love. Take a breath now. Let the conversation go. Let God hold what you can't fix. Let the weight lift. Let the silence of your room become the sanctuary of His presence. The shepherd is near. The waters are still. The grace is enough. Rest in it. What do you keep rehearsing in your mind that you need to release to God? How does it change your view to know that God hears the heart, not just the words? Can you believe that God is still pleased with you, even in your verbal regrets? He restores my soul. Psalm 23:3. My heart's meditation is pleasing to God. Psalm 19:14. There is no condemnation for those in Christ. Romans 8:1. Whisper this truth over your soul tonight. God hears the words I didn't know how to say. If this night prayer brought peace to your heart, gently pass it to someone carrying the weight of their own words. Let them find their rest in God's listening love. You don't have to defend yourself in your mind tonight. That courtroom in your thoughts, where you're both the accused and the advocate, is not where God has called you to live. Racing thoughts try to pull you back into the argument, into the proving, into the exhausting cycle of trying to justify your heart. But God isn't calling you to rehearse your defense. He's inviting you to rest in His. Romans 8:33-34 silences the accusations before they even begin. Who will bring any charge against those whom God has chosen? It is God who justifies. You are not on trial, not tonight, not ever again in the eyes of heaven. The invisible jury in your head, the cross-examinations you imagine, the regret on repeat, it's not truth, it's noise, and the Spirit is here to quiet it. Your home is not the courtroom. Your home is Psalm 91, verse 1. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. That's where you belong tonight, not in your mental defense, but under the shadow of his wings. Pope Leo IV once said, "Many wounds in the soul are not reopened by enemies, but by memory." And that's what you're feeling now. Not just the sting of what someone said, but the ache of what you keep repeating to yourself. The real wound may not be what was spoken aloud. It's the narrative you've kept alive in your head. But God is here to break that loop. He speaks with holy tenderness. You are not what they said. You are not even what you said. You are mine. Meditation, at its most sacred, is not rehearsing thoughts, but receiving truth. And the truth tonight is this: God already knows the full story. He knows what was said, what was misunderstood, and what was left unsaid. He knows where your words failed and where your heart tried. You don't have to beg him to understand. You don't have to explain again. He already sees, he already knows, and he still chooses you. So let your night prayer be release, not rhetoric. As you rest your head on the pillow, let this be your cry. God, I'm done defending myself. I give you the courtroom. I give you the echo. I give you the anxious edits. I give you the fear of being misunderstood. Be my peace, be my covering, be the interpreter of my silence and the defender of my soul. Psalm 23 meets you like a lullaby. He makes me lie down in green pasture, not because all is resolved, but because all is surrendered. Dr. Anita Phillips teaches that anxiety is often the soul's way of trying to fix the past and control the future. But healing begins in the now, in the letting go, in the lying down. You don't have to keep editing the memory. You don't have to keep defending your day. You only need to give it to God. He is already holding what you cannot. This is the quiet work of night, not to forget, but to entrust. Not to win the argument in your mind, but to welcome the peace of God. You are not your explanation. You are not your defense. You are beloved, justified, held. And tonight, as you surrender the invisible courtroom, God speaks a better word: peace, be still. That is the voice that settles the chaos. That is the voice that redefines the memory. That is the voice that reminds your soul of what's always been true. You are not condemned, you are covered. Rest now, not because everything is clear, but because everything is covered by grace. What part of today's conversations are you still trying to defend in your thoughts? How would your sleep change if you believed God already justified you? What memory or comment do you need to surrender to God tonight? God is my defender, I am at peace. Romans 8:33. He makes me lie down in green pastures. Psalm 23:2. I rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Psalm 91:1. Whisper this declaration as you drift to sleep. God is my defender. I don't need to explain anymore. Then send this prayer to someone else who's been pacing in the courtroom of their own mind. Help them find what you're finding now. Peace beyond the overthinking. Refuge beyond the reasoning. Rest beyond the regret. There is a sacred kind of peace that only arrives when you lay down the burden of needing to be understood. You've reached that threshold tonight. You've spoken, explained, apologized, out loud, in prayer, and endlessly in your mind. But now your soul is weary. Weary from wondering if you said too little or too much. Weary from hoping someone saw your heart clearly. And in this tender exhaustion, God meets you. Not with a demand for more clarity, but with a table already set. Psalm 23:5 says, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." Sometimes the enemies aren't people. They're thoughts, accusing thoughts, repeating thoughts, loud, anxious thoughts that rob your rest. And yet, even in their presence, God invites you to sit down. He doesn't ask you to wait until the voices go silent. He lays out peace in the middle of the mental storm and says, "Sit, be still, let me serve you." His peace does not require your explanation. It only asks for your presence. This is where your meditation becomes holy warfare, not with resistance, but with release. You're not defending your character tonight. You're not trying to fix the misunderstanding. You are resting in the truth that God knows your full story and still calls you His. Lisa Bevere teaches, when you stop performing, you make room for God to begin healing. This is that moment. No more rehearsing your innocence, no more over-explaining your motives, just the tender surrender of a weary heart, handed back to the one who understands. Your night prayer may sound like this: Lord, I've tried to be understood, but I'm tired, and I know you see beyond what I said. You hear the truth of my intention. I give you the ache of being misread. I give you the heaviness of trying to control how I'm seen. I give you the lies I believed about myself because someone didn't understand me. Heal me where words failed. Restore me where perception wounded. Teach me to find peace not in being known by others, but in being known by you. Then let silence come, not awkward silence, but sacred silence. The kind Pope Leo the Catarrhinus described as where the soul hears God more clearly than words ever could. That silence is your invitation to rest without needing to explain. It is the blanket that hushes the noise of striving. It's not emptiness. It's evidence that peace has arrived. In that stillness, your soul will begin to exhale the performance. You'll begin to trust that even when your words are messy, your heart is known. 1 Samuel 16:7 reminds you that God sees not as man sees. He looks at the heart. And Zephaniah 3:17 promises He will quiet you with His love. You don't have to be heard by them to be healed by Him. You don't need their validation to receive His restoration. Let that truth hold you now. What conversations or perceptions are you still trying to fix in your mind? How would it feel to stop explaining and just rest in God's understanding? Where might silence be the medicine your soul has been craving? You prepare a table for me, even here. Psalm 23:5. God knows my heart, beyond my words. Zephaniah 16:7, paraphrased. He quiets me with His love. Zephaniah 3:17. Close your eyes. Inhale slowly. Exhale the performance. Share this prayer with someone who feels they're constantly misunderstood. Let them know understanding isn't the path to peace. God is. And He already knows. The words you wish you could take back often echo louder than the ones you're proud of. In the stillness of night, they return, not as harmless memories, but as weights on your chest. A tone that sounded too sharp, a phrase spoken too quickly, a silence that left too much unsaid. And often, the torment doesn't come from someone else's voice. It comes from your own. You become both accuser and accused, judge and jury, playing out scenes in your mind with no room for mercy. But that is not God's courtroom. He does not define you by your clumsiest moment. He doesn't rehearse your words to punish you. He restores you with grace. Psalm 91:4 says, He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. And that refuge isn't just from outside threats. It's from the relentless noise of your own self-condemnation. God's message to you tonight is this: you are not the sum of your worst sentences. You are beloved, even in the moments you'd rewrite. Jakes once said, you cannot heal what you won't release. And tonight God is inviting you to release, not to deny the past, but to declare that it no longer has power over your peace. This is not about rewriting the past. It's about stepping into the present, where mercy is still speaking. The past has nothing new to say, but God does. Let your bedtime prayer become an act of surrender. God, I offer you the words I regret, the sharp tones, the unfinished thoughts, the conversations I've played over and over. I release the part of me still trying to edit what has already been said. I believe you can redeem what I cannot redo. Let your truth rise above the shame in my mind. Speak louder than the guilt. Healing doesn't require perfect closure. It begins with holy permission, the permission to rest, to release, to receive grace right here and now. Dr. Anita Phillips teaches that healing often begins not with explanation, but with permission. So tonight, give yourself permission. Permission to be human, permission to be unfinished, permission to let go. You don't need to fix every word before you fall asleep. You don't need to earn peace. You only need to accept it. Under His wings, you are safe. In His love, you are still welcome. You don't have to keep rehearsing the trial. The verdict has already been spoken. Grace. You are not your sharp comment. You are not your missed moment. You are not your regret. You are covered. You are held. And you are being restored by a God who never once questioned your worth. What sentence or phrase do you most wish you could take back? How have your own thoughts become your harshest judge? Can you receive God's mercy even if you still feel undeserving? Under His wings I find refuge from my regrets. Psalm 91:4. Surely goodness and mercy follow me. Psalm 23:6. There is no condemnation in Christ. Romans 8:1. You don't have to be at peace with every word to rest in God's love tonight. Share this night prayer with someone lying awake in their own echo of regret. Let grace speak louder than guilt, for them and for you. There's something sacred about a God who listens more to the heart than to the lips, who hears the tremble behind the silence, the ache behind the unsaid, the meaning buried beneath the pause. That's what your soul needs tonight. Not another mental script, not another exhausting replay, but rest in the truth that God sees it all. Psalm 139:4 says, "Before a word is on my tongue, you, Lord, know it completely." That's not a warning, it's a comfort. Because while others may judge the moment or mishear your meaning, God holds the whole story. He knows why you stayed quiet. He knows the fear, the restraint, the sadness that sealed your mouth, and He's not asking for more words. He's offering more peace. Your night prayer doesn't require performance. It only requires presence. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted, and even your unspoken thoughts rise as holy prayer in His presence. Sometimes silence is strength. Sometimes it's surrender. Sometimes it's all you have left, and all of it is holy when entrusted to God. Pope Leo Cantorus wrote, "The holiest part of a conversation is often what remains unsaid, entrusted to God." So, entrust it. The apology that never came, the closure that never arrived, the truth that never made it past your lips. You don't have to keep reliving it. You don't have to keep trying to fix it in your head. You can choose peace anyway. Not because every word was right, but because God is still speaking into the silence. Psalm 23 leads you beside still waters. Still waters don't demand explanation. They offer restoration. Let them carry you tonight. Let them remind you that stillness isn't failure. It's an invitation to healing. So let your bedtime meditation be simple and honest. God, thank you for knowing what I meant, even when I didn't say it right. Thank you for understanding the pain I swallowed, the fear I couldn't name, and the apology I never had the words for. I release the unfinished sentences, the stuck emotions, and the quiet places of my heart to you. Speak your peace where I could not. Wrap your presence around my silence and let it be enough. Healing doesn't begin with perfect clarity. It begins with permission. Dr. Anita Phillips reminds us that healing starts not in explanation, but in surrender. So give yourself permission to rest tonight. Permission to let the silence be sacred. Permission to believe that even what was unsaid can still be heard and held by the God who sees it all. What unspoken thoughts or feelings are you still carrying? Can you trust that God understands even your silence? How can stillness become a place of healing instead of pressure? Before I speak, God already knows. Psalm 139:4. Still waters restore my soul. Psalm 23:2-3. Silence in God's presence is enough. Lamentations 3:26, paraphrased. Let someone know that silence is not spiritual failure. Share this night prayer with someone who feels unseen in their quiet. Let them know God sees, God hears, and even silence can be a sacred offering when placed in His hands. You've spent your whole day navigating words, speaking, typing, texting, replying, interpreting, editing, trying to be clear, trying to be kind, trying to be understood. But now the world quiets, and suddenly silence feels foreign, maybe even threatening. Because in this quiet, the thoughts you pushed aside start rising, the ones you hoped would stay buried, the scenes you wish ended differently, the questions you can't stop asking yourself. And yet, God's message to you tonight is not silence the noise. It's let me meet you in it. Psalm 46:10 doesn't say fix your thoughts and then know me. It says be still and know that I am God. Not still and perfect, not still and polished, just still, just present, just you, with your mess and your mind, held in the stillness of God. This night prayer isn't about resolution. It's not the place for conclusions. It's not about understanding everything that happened today. It's about resting in the middle of what's still unraveling. Because God doesn't wait for your clarity to meet you. He becomes your peace right in the center of confusion. Dr. Anita Phillips reminds us that while the brain seeks closure, the soul seeks connection. That's what this moment is. Not an answer, but a connection. Not closure, but communion. And God is here, right now, in the hush after all the overthinking. In the slow exhale when you finally stop trying to solve everything. Psalm 23:5 is for this moment. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Even if those enemies are your own anxious thoughts, your own replaying mind. The table is still set. Even now, God is still providing peace. So let your bedtime prayer be this. God, I bring you my unraveling mind. I bring you the pieces of today I don't know what to do with. I surrender the conversations I overanalyzed and the silence I misunderstood. I lay down my need to explain everything to myself. I choose to rest inside the mystery because you're already there. Be the table in my wilderness, be the calm in my chaos. Lead me beside still waters and let your peace steady me. This is what it means to meditate on God. It's not control, it's communion. It's not solving, it's surrendering. Let your thoughts settle tonight. Like dust in the quiet morning light, let His stillness become louder than your worry. Let His presence become enough. What overanalyzed moment are you still clinging to? Can you allow God's presence to be enough, even without closure? How can you welcome mystery as part of your spiritual journey? Be still and know He is God. Psalm 46:10. The Lord prepares peace in my unrest. Psalm 23:5. Even here, God leads me beside still waters. Psalm 23:2. You're not the only one whose thoughts race in the quiet. Share this night prayer with someone afraid of silence. Let them discover that in God's stillness, we find something louder than words. Peace. There comes a moment deep in the night when the noise inside you grows louder than the world around you. You've turned off the lights, silenced your phone, maybe even whispered a prayer, but the thoughts still rush in like waves. Not dramatic, not evil, just relentless. Why didn't I say something? Did they think I didn't care? Was my silence a mistake? It's not just words you regret, it's the moments that slipped by, the hesitation, the quiet exits, the pauses filled with guilt, and you wonder if your silence hurt someone, or worse, if it disappointed God. But here is the truth that meets you with mercy tonight. Silence is not a failure when it's surrendered to God. He is not asking, "Why didn't you speak?" He's saying, "Come now, be still, I know what you meant." In the quiet, He is not accusing, He is embracing. Psalm 91 invites you into that embrace. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. That rest is not earned by performance, it's entered through trust. And trust means believing God can still speak where you stayed silent. Lisa Bevere teaches, God is not limited by your silence. He is powerful enough to speak through your surrender. So tonight, this is your night prayer. God, I've carried guilt for the things I didn't say. I've worried that my silence was weakness. But I now offer it to you, not as a failure, but as a holy space. Redeem it. Use it. Speak where I was quiet. Heal where I hesitated. Let my silence become sacred ground. Not all battles are fought with words. Some are won in the quiet, where you choose to trust the Holy Spirit more than your need to control perception. Dr. Anita Phillips reminds us that rest is resistance. Resistance to the urge to fix, to explain, to perform. Let rest be your resistance tonight. Let Psalm 23:3 become your lullaby. He restores my soul. Not just your words, your soul. The overthinking, overworrying, overfeeling part of you that stayed up trying to make it all make sense. That part is safe now, because God is already doing the restoring. Your silence, when surrendered, is not weakness, it's worship. It's a quiet kind of strength that trusts God more than the urge to rewrite the past. So breathe. Be still. You don't have to be perfect to be loved. You don't have to speak more to be seen. You don't have to explain your way into peace. God is already here. He's not asking for more words. He's offering more grace. Let stillness be your sanctuary. In what areas of life have you confused silence with failure? Can you believe that God can use even what you didn't say? How would your sleep change if you saw silence as sacred? I rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Psalm 91:1. God restores my soul. Psalm 23:3. My silence is safe with God. Isaiah 30:15 paraphrased. Someone you know is carrying shame over the words they never spoke. Share this night prayer with them. Let them know even their silence is seen by God, and in His eyes it can become sacred. You've tried to quiet your thoughts with logic, with distraction, even with prayer, but they keep returning like a restless tide. Not because you're failing, but because you care, because you long to be understood, because part of you still hopes to rewrite what cannot be revised. These aren't evil thoughts. They carry the residue of your humanity, the echoes of conversations unfinished, the silence you wish you'd filled, the fear of being misunderstood. But here is Mercy's message for you tonight. You are not your anxious mind. You are not the script you keep replaying. You are the beloved of a God who sees your intention when your words falter, who holds your heart even when your silence feels heavy. Psalm 91:2 becomes your truth tonight. He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Not my words, not my perfection, just Him. That trust doesn't come from tying up every loose end. It's born in surrender, in choosing to rest even when things are unresolved. As T.D. Jakes says, God does some of His best work in the waiting. And tonight, that waiting isn't passive, it's holy. This night prayer isn't about demanding answers. It's about letting go. God, I give you my overthinking, the edits I keep making in my head, the fear of being misread, the longing to be seen rightly. I surrender it all. Be my fortress tonight. Not my reasoning, not my memory, just you. And in that release, something shifts. Peace begins to move in, not because the thoughts disappear, but because the presence of God enters the space they've occupied. Pope Leo the Corsair once said, "Peace is not the silence of thought, but the presence of God in it." Let that presence flow like soft light into every anxious corner. Let Psalm 23 walk beside you now. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Even through the shadows of past conversations, even through the valley of what was left unsaid, even in the silence that still haunts you. You don't need to fix what grace has already covered. You don't need to speak perfectly to be understood by the one who hears the heart. You only need to rest. Let God be your refuge, not once everything's resolved, but here and now, exactly as it is. What script are you still mentally rehearsing that you need to release to God? How would it feel to let God be your fortress instead of your words? Can you embrace the unfinished as a space for divine presence? God is my refuge and fortress. Psalm 91:2. Even here I fear no evil. Psalm 23:4. God knows my intention better than I do. 1 John 3:20, paraphrased. If your mind needs rest more than answers, share this night prayer with someone else carrying the burden of unfinished words. Let them feel the holy hush of God's presence and finally rest. There's a holy invitation waiting for you in the quiet, to stop defending, explaining, proving, and to simply be. Not the version of you shaped by fear or filtered by apology. Not the version rehearsing replies or scanning memories for where things went wrong. Just you, loved, covered, and held. Psalm 91 whispers, "Under his wings you will find refuge." That's not poetic sentiment. It's the place your soul was made to rest. You're not on trial tonight. You're not being graded. You are being gathered. You are not your awkward pauses or unsent messages. You are not the echo of what you wish you'd said. You are someone deeply known and already forgiven by a God who sees beyond the moment and understands the heart beneath the words. Lisa Bevere reminds us, there is nothing hidden that love cannot cover, so stop hiding, not just from others, but from yourself. You don't need to tidy up your memory to find peace. You don't need to earn rest with perfect recall. You only need to surrender. Psalm 23 holds out a promise that doesn't require explanation. He restores my soul. And restoration doesn't come after you get it all right, but comes when you finally lay it all down. Your bedtime prayer isn't a report card, it's a refuge. God, I'm tired of trying to prove that I meant well. I'm tired of hoping they saw my heart. I hand you the fragments of today, the quiet regrets, the misunderstood intentions, the fear of having disappointed. Wrap them in mercy, speak where I could not heal what I don't know how to fix, and restore what I've tried to carry alone. Dr. Anita Phillips teaches that spiritual maturity isn't found in perfect phrasing. It's found in knowing when to let God speak instead. Maybe this is one of those moments. A sacred pause where you stop striving to be heard and start trusting you've already been seen. Let your silence tonight become your sanctuary. Let the presence of God be your punctuation, and let the final word over this day be the one He always chooses: peace. Not because you figured everything out, but because you gave it to the one who already has. Where are you still trying to be seen or validated through your words? What would it look like to surrender the need to be understood? Can you let God's presence be the final word over your day? Under His wings, I am safe. Psalm 91:4. The Lord restores my soul. Psalm 23:3. I trust God to speak for me. Sing God judgments, then pass this night prayer to someone who needs to know. God sees what words miss, and His mercy makes room for your soul to sleep. Not every wound is caused by what was said. Some of the deepest aches come from what was never spoken. The apology caught in your throat. The truth you buried for fear it wouldn't be safe. The moment that begged for honesty, but passed in silence. And now, as your body lies down and your mind refuses to, those unsaid things return. Not to comfort, but to haunt. You wonder, was I a coward? Did I fail God by staying quiet? But here's the truth that meets you with mercy tonight. Silence in the hands of God is not failure, it can be formation. Psalm 91 doesn't require a spoken password to enter. It opens to the surrendered heart. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. That means even your silence, especially the kind laced with longing and regret, is still welcome in his presence. Pope Leo XXVIII once wrote, "What we dare not say to others, we can always say to God, and he will never mishear us." So tonight, speak, not to them, to him. Let your night prayer become your sacred conversation. God, I was silent when I wanted to speak. I felt the nudge in my spirit, but fear froze my voice. I don't know if I missed my moment, but I trust you enough to bring even this. Receive what I could not say. Let it become incense in your presence. That is not spiritual immaturity, it's spiritual honesty. Dr. Anita Phillips reminds us, avoidance is not peace, it's just fear dressed as safety. But tonight isn't about pretending you're fine. It's about giving yourself permission to let the silence be seen, not for shame, for release. You don't need to be eloquent. You only need to be willing, and Psalm 23 whispers beside you, "Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life." Yes, even the silent ones, the hesitant ones, the ones you carry in your chest like unanswered prayers. Mercy didn't miss those moments. It followed you here into the quiet, into the ache, into the bed where sleep feels far. And mercy has one job tonight, to hold you, to hush the what-ifs, to remind you that even in silence, you are still God's, still loved, still enough. What words have you left unsaid that now weigh on your heart? Do you believe that God hears the prayers you couldn't speak out loud? Can you offer your silence to God as a form of surrender instead of shame? God hears my silence and receives it. Romans 8:26, paraphrased. Under his wings I find my rest. Psalm 91:4, goodness and mercy follow me always. Psalm 23:6, someone you love is carrying unsaid things that feel like failure. Forward this night prayer to them. Let them know God hears the unspoken, and he blesses the honest silence with healing. Some nights, the loudest thing in the room is the absence of resolution. A conversation that ended too soon, a text that never came, a goodbye left unspoken. And in the stillness, you lie there, trying to piece together piece from fragments. You wonder, will I ever get the chance to make it right? But here's the truth heaven whispers tonight. Closure is not a prerequisite for peace when God is present. Psalm 91 doesn't promise clarity before comfort. It offers shelter right in the middle of the unknown. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. You don't need a perfect ending to be embraced. You don't need understanding to be understood. Peace starts where surrender begins. T.D. Jakes says, "You can't heal when you're still waiting for someone else to give you permission." So tonight, stop waiting. God's comfort is not delayed until someone else speaks. His mercy is already moving, right here, right now. Psalm 23:2 says, "He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul." Quiet waters don't explain, they heal. And tonight, you don't need another conversation. You need restoration. So let your night prayer sound like this. God, I've been chasing closure like it's the key to peace, but I release it now. I give you the unfinished chapters, the lingering questions, the words I'll never hear. I trust you to write endings I'll never see. I trust you to heal in places I can't reach. And I choose rest over resolution. This is the holy art of surrendering control over what cannot be rewritten. You're not pretending it didn't matter. You're trusting that it matters more in God's hands than it does in yours. Dr. Anita Phillips reminds us, peace isn't passive, it's participation in the presence of God. So participate now. Let go. Let mercy hold the tension. Let grace carry what you can't explain, because you don't have to carry closure to rest. You just need to be held. And you are. What lack of closure are you still clinging to that God is asking you to release? How does it feel to know you don't need answers to experience peace? Are you willing to trust God to finish the story His way? He restores my soul, even in the unfinished. Psalm 23:3. I rest under his wings tonight. Psalm 91:4. God completes what he begins. Philippians 1:6, paraphrased. Ask this night prayer to someone still waiting for closure. Let them know God's comfort doesn't begin at the end of the story. It begins right here, in the middle, with mercy. You've apologized. Maybe once, maybe silently 100 times. But the weight still lingers, not because others didn't forgive you, but because you haven't yet forgiven yourself. That's the ache no one sees. You show up, you serve, you pray, but inside there's still that quiet whisper. Why did I say that? It's a heaviness that sleep can't erase and meditation can't quiet. But tonight, God breaks through your self-blame with mercy. You are not bound to your past expressions. You are anchored in my everlasting compassion. Psalm 91 doesn't say, if you speak perfectly, I will protect you. It says, because you love me, I will rescue you. Love, not perfection, is your covering. This is where grace begins to speak louder than guilt. Dr. Renita Phillips reminds us, self-forgiveness is not self-centered. It's spiritual alignment with God's mercy. And that mercy isn't abstract, it's present, practical, personal. It meets you in the messy moments where your tone was too sharp, your words rushed, your intentions misunderstood. This is your bedtime prayer. God, I know I could have responded with more grace. I could have paused instead of reacted, but you see my heart. I surrender the guilt I've carried. I choose to receive your mercy. I choose to rest in the truth that even my missteps can be redeemed by your love. Pope Leo the Cataprism once wrote, what mercy cannot prevent, it will always repair. And that is the kind of mercy covering you now, not erasing the past, but healing its wound. Let Psalm 23:6 sing over your shame. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. That includes today, with its flaws, with its missteps, with its imperfect words. God's mercy isn't chasing a polished version of you, it's pursuing you, the one lying here in reflection, regret, and longing. And peace is not far off. It's here. It's always been. You don't have to earn it. You just have to stop resisting it. Let your night prayer be the door you walk through into the arms of grace. What part of yourself are you struggling to forgive tonight? Can you believe that God's mercy is stronger than your verbal mistakes? How would it change your heart to rest in self-forgiveness? Surely mercy follows me even tonight. Psalm 23:6. He will rescue me because I love him. Psalm 91:14. I am forgiven even by myself. Psalm John 1:9 paraphrased. Know someone silently wrestling with regret. Send them this night prayer. Let them know God's mercy doesn't just forgive what we say, it heals the shame we carry afterward. Let them rest knowing they are still fully loved. There are words you've spoken that still echo in someone else's memory, and you may never know how they received them. That uncertainty keeps you awake, not because you're careless, but because you care deeply. You care how your presence affected the atmosphere. You care if your love made it through the noise. And when you're unsure, it stings. But God sees what you can't. He doesn't just weigh your words, he holds your heart. Psalm 91:15 says, He will call on me and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. And sometimes the trouble isn't external chaos. It's the storm of inner doubt. The fear that your kindness got lost in translation. The ache that your silence might have spoken the wrong message. Lisa Bevere once said, true strength is knowing your heart was pure, even when the outcome wasn't perfect. That's the trust God invites you into tonight. You can't go back and fix what was spoken or clarify what might have been misread, but you can surrender it. Offer it back to the God who carries words farther than we ever could. God, I give you the words I'm unsure about. I offer the things I tried to say in love. I trust you to carry them to the right places. I trust you to heal where I couldn't speak clearly. Make peace out of what feels incomplete. Make rest out of what feels uncertain. Pope Leo IV wrote, "The fruit of true love is not clarity, it is trust. Trust that love, when surrendered, is never wasted." Let Psalm 23 walk you into rest. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. The rod doesn't beat you for your mistakes. The staff doesn't drive you with shame. They guide, they correct with care. They pull you close. You are not lost in uncertainty. You are being led through it. So let go tonight. Let God do the reaching. Let Him do the healing. Let Him be the voice that stays behind in someone's heart when your own voice has gone quiet. What moment are you still trying to interpret instead of surrendering? Can you trust God to use your heart's intention, even if your words were imperfect? How does it feel to know that love doesn't have to be perfectly communicated to be real? He answers me when I call. Psalm 91:15. God leads me through uncertainty. God leads me through lust, that I trust God to carry my love farther than I can. Isaiah 55:11, paraphrased. Someone you love is wondering if their love was enough. Share this night prayer with them. Let them rest knowing that God sees the heart, and He honors what was spoken in love, even when it wasn't spoken perfectly. There's a tenderness in God that meets you when your heart is still processing what your mouth already released. You said it. It's out there, and now you're not sure if you should have. Maybe you wish you could take it back, or maybe you wonder if it mattered at all. This is the liminal space where regret and doubt swirl together, making it hard to rest. But God doesn't dwell in that confusion. He dwells in compassion, and He's here now. Psalm 91:11 declares, "He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways." That includes the ways of speech, of silence, of uncertainty. You are not walking this alone, not even in your overthinking. Heaven surrounds you. You are guarded not by the perfection of your words, but by the mercy of your God. D.D. Jakes reminds us, you can't control how others hear you, but you can control what you surrender to God. And tonight, that's what this bedtime prayer is all about. Lord, I said what I said, and now I feel unsure. I don't know how it was received. I don't know if it helped or harmed, but I give it to you. I surrender what I cannot rephrase. I trust you to guard the hearts that received my words and to soften the echoes if needed. I release my fear of misunderstanding and ask you to protect the places where my words landed. This is not avoiding responsibility. It's releasing yourself from an imaginary version of control. You are not responsible for every interpretation, only for your intention. And God, who sees the heart, knows how to tend to what you can. Psalm 23 walks beside you here too. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. That overflowing isn't chaos, it's divine abundance. God doesn't just give enough grace for your past, He gives more than enough. Enough to cover every careless moment. Enough to redeem the ones you didn't know needed healing. Lisa Bevere once said, "Grace doesn't make light of sin. It makes heavy the love that covers it." A healer, Lisa, a pastor, let that weight of love settle over you now, not as pressure, but as peace. What words have you been second-guessing after they left your mouth? Can you allow God to tend to what you can't control anymore? How does it feel to believe that your words are not stronger than God's grace? He commands angels to guard me, even in my words. Psalm 91:11. My cup overflows with mercy and grace. Psalm 23:5. God transforms my words into healing when I surrender them. Proverbs 16:24, paraphrased. Send this night prayer to someone who is still carrying the weight of what they said. Let them know God doesn't just listen, He guards, He heals, and He redeems. Even now, especially now. Some nights your soul aches not from conflict, but from conversation, from speaking too soon or too late. from not knowing whether your truth was heard or just tolerated. You lie in the stillness, wondering, did I do more harm than good? You replay your voice in someone else's ears, imagining what they might have thought, how they might have misunderstood, what they might now believe about you. But tonight, God cuts through the spiral with his eternal assurance. You are not at the mercy of anyone's interpretation. You are held by mine. Psalm 91, 9-10 offers your weary heart this shelter. If you say, "The Lord is my refuge," and you make the Most High your dwelling, no harm will overtake you. That includes the harm of perceived rejection. That includes the echo of overthinking. God's comfort doesn't wait until your words land perfectly. It meets you in the tension. It holds you in the questions, and it surrounds you even when you don't know if you got it right, because love, when surrendered, is never wasted. Pope Leo XII once reflected, "We fear most what we cannot correct, but God corrects without condemnation." That means your bedtime prayer tonight is not about fixing the past. It's about surrendering to the one who already forgave. Lord, I'm exhausted by the sound of my own worry. I've tried to untangle every word, every pause, every look, but I give you my heart, even in its anxious overreach. I trust you to cleanse my intention and calm the reactions I'll never hear. I surrender what I cannot rephrase and trust you to soften the echoes if needed. Teach me to believe that I am not unsafe just because someone misunderstood me. This isn't about dismissing the impact of your words. It's about laying them in the hands of a God who both corrects and comforts, who convicts with kindness, and who guards your heart with gentleness even in the aftermath. Psalm 23:1 rises like a declaration in the night. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. You don't need affirmation from others to be enough. You already are, because God says so. Dr. Anita Phillips teaches that peace is not the absence of uncertainty, it is the presence of God in the middle of it. And tonight, he is here. He's not asking for more words, he's offering rest. And he's placing his hand gently on your thoughts, whispering, "Quiet now, beloved. You've said enough. Let me speak peace over you." You don't need to defend what was said or analyze what wasn't. God knows the full truth. And in that truth, he invites you to rest, not in what you said, but in who you are, his. What part of yourself have you been trying to prove through words? How would it feel to let go of needing to be fully understood? Can you believe that God's interpretation of you is the only one that truly matters? No harm will overtake me, for God is my refuge. Psalm 91:10. The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. Psalm 23:1. God corrects with compassion, not condemnation. Hebrews 12:10, paraphrased. You're not alone in the struggle to be understood. Share this night prayer with someone who's stuck in the loop of self-doubt. Let them know. God's love speaks louder than any misinterpretation, and it never stops speaking peace. Some of the deepest peace you'll ever know doesn't come from resolution, it comes from trust. Trust that even if the conversation never finishes, even if you never hear their response, even if your words were misheard or missed entirely, God still knows, and God still works. Tonight, let that truth unclench your heart. Let it soften the corners of your mind where doubt has made its bed. Psalm 91:14-15 offers this promise. Because he loves me, says the Lord, I will rescue him. I will protect him. I will be with him in trouble. And the trouble may not be visible. It may simply be the emotional unrest that won't release you, the internal tug of war between your intent and their silence. But God steps into that gap and speaks his word over the noise. You are not alone. I will be with you in this. He is not waiting on the other person's reply. He is waiting for your release. D.D. Jakes reminds us, there's a difference between being misunderstood and being forsaken. One is human, the other divine. And I've promised never to do the latter. So tonight, you release what was never yours to control. You release the outcome. You release the idea that peace is only found when someone else affirms you. This is your night prayer. God, I've wanted closure more than I've wanted comfort. I've begged for clarity when you've been offering closeness. So I surrender now, not because I give up, but because I give into your arms, into your refuge, into your word that does not return void. Let the unfinished parts of my story rest in your sovereignty. Pope Leo XXXIII wrote, "There is no such thing as a prayer unheard, only a heart Open yours now, not to speak again, but to hear, not to fix, but to be filled, not to revisit, but to rest." This is not surrendering in defeat. It's surrendering into healing. Psalm 23 brings its final comfort for the day. "Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." That includes today. This day, with all its mess and memory and mystery, is still followed by goodness. Mercy is not far behind, and the house of the Lord, the place where you are heard, known, and safe, is open for you to sleep in tonight. Your identity is not tied to whether you were fully understood, but to the one who understands all. He is the God who never mishears your heart, never misinterprets your love, never requires your perfection to extend his peace. Let tonight be the night you let go of the last word. Let it be the night you let God have the final say. And let that final say be peace. What longing for resolution are you willing to trade for closeness with God? How does it comfort you to know God never misunderstands you? Can you let go of needing the last word and let God be the conclusion? God rescues and protects me because I love him. Psalm 91:14. Surely goodness and mercy follow me tonight. Psalm 23:6. God is near even when I feel unheard. Psalm 34:18. Forward this night prayer to someone who is wrestling in silence. Remind them, peace doesn't wait for the final word. It begins when you let God have it. Let this be the night you stop needing answers and start receiving presence. There is a kind of healing that only happens when you stop trying to make it all make sense. When you stop dissecting every interaction. When you stop wondering how they saw you, heard you, judged you. Tonight, God is not inviting you to replay, but to release. Psalm 91:1 gently calls you to this holy place. Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Rest, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Rest from needing to make everything right. Rest from trying to understand someone else's silence. Rest from trying to interpret what they never said. Rest because the one who truly matters already understands, and he's not asking for more, he's asking for surrender. This is not about apathy, it's about holy peace. Peace that doesn't depend on the next text, the perfect resolution, or the affirmation you never got. It's about being held when you're tired of holding everything else. Dr. Anita Phillips teaches, overthinking is the soul's way of begging for safety, but you don't have to beg for what's already been given. You are safe now, not because your words were perfect, not because you managed every moment well, but because God has made himself your refuge, and he is always enough. Your bedtime prayer is this: God, I've carried too much in my mind today. I've analyzed myself into exhaustion. But I know now, peace isn't found in figuring it all out. Peace is found in dwelling with you, so I dwell here. I dwell in your mercy. I dwell in your forgiveness. I dwell in the love that doesn't change based on how others see me. Pope Leo California wrote, to dwell in God's presence is to forget the weight of the world, even the one you've placed on your own shoulders. And that's what tonight is, a sacred release, not into forgetfulness, but into freedom. Let Psalm 23 sing quietly in the background of your soul. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He restores my soul. That restoration isn't just for the obvious wounds. It's for the quiet battles, the internal spirals, the lonely regrets. It's for the places you've never named aloud. And it's happening even now as you surrender. Not because you got the answers you wanted, but because you stopped needing them to feel whole. Peace does not come from perfect understanding. Peace comes from perfect presence. And God is present, right here, right now. He's not distant or distracted. He's near to the brokenhearted, near to the overthinker, near to the one who wonders if they're too much. You are not too much for the one who made you. Let him carry you to rest. What emotional weight are you carrying that you can now lay down with God? How would your sleep change if peace didn't depend on understanding everything? Are you willing to let God's mercy define your worth instead of someone else's silence? I dwell in the shadow of the Almighty. Psalm 91:1. He restores my soul. Psalm 23:3. God's mercy holds me when I don't have answers. Lamentations 3:22-23. Someone close to you is carrying a weight they don't know how to explain. Share this night prayer with them. Let them know God's presence is the place where confusion becomes comfort. Let them sleep tonight in the shelter of that truth. There are prayers that don't have words, only sighs, tears, or the weight of silence lying across your chest like a heavy blanket. Tonight may be one of those nights. You want to pray, but your thoughts are tangled. You want to release, but your grip on the day is still tight. You want to rest, but your soul is tired from trying to appear okay. In this place of quiet heaviness, hear this. God does not require articulation. He honors authenticity. Romans 8:26 promises, "The Spirit Himself intercedes for us through wordless groans." That means even when you can't find the language, heaven still hears your heart, and God is not impatient with your slowness. He is present, waiting, covering. Psalm 91 verse 4 declares, "He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge." That's not poetic exaggeration. That's a spiritual reality for your tired heart tonight. You are not required to be eloquent. You are only invited to be honest. Tonight, your bedtime prayer doesn't have to be profound. It only needs to be real. God, I don't have the words tonight. I'm carrying emotions I don't fully understand. Thoughts that race without end. Feelings that sit like stones in my chest. But I bring them to you. I lay them before you, not to explain them, but to be held in them. Cover me, quiet me, remind me that even in silence, you're still near. That is the sacred surrender of night prayer, bringing what you don't even know how to say to the one who understands it perfectly. Pope Leo XX once said, "The deepest prayers are often the ones we never speak, only feel and offer." You're not failing, you're not weak, you're simply human, and God meets you right there. He does not need your clarity to respond with compassion. He does not require your strength to extend safety. In your quietest state, He is still loud with love. Psalm 23 assures you, "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me." And that valley may not be dramatic. It may simply be emotional clutter, invisible wounds, or fatigue from always trying to be strong. But even there, in that unseen place, God shows up, not to demand, but to dwell, not to fix, but to stay, not to instruct, but to restore. Tonight, you are free from having to explain, free from having to perform, free from needing words. Just rest, just breathe, just receive. Peace isn't always loud. Sometimes it comes like a whisper. Sometimes it feels like a blanket. Sometimes it's just knowing you are not alone. And tonight, you are not. God is with you, even now, especially now. What emotions are present in you tonight that you haven't been able to name? Can you trust that the Holy Spirit is already interceding on your behalf, even without words? How might you rest differently if you believed your silence was heard as a prayer? The Spirit intercedes when I have no words. Romans 8:26. Under His wings I am safe tonight. Psalm 91:4. God is with me in my silence. Psalm 23:4. Someone tonight feels like their silence makes them distant from God. Share this night prayer with them. Let them know, in stillness, God leans closer, not farther. His comfort speaks even when we can't. Let peace come quietly, like mercy in the dark. There's a moment in the night when the world feels suspended, when everything slows, yet your mind speeds up. You've turned off the lights, but your thoughts stay lit. You revisit conversations, rethink decisions, and retrace steps that can no longer be changed. And somewhere in the swirl of it all is the quiet ache. Did I say too much or not enough? But God is not confused by your uncertainty. He is not disturbed by your doubt. He doesn't need your perfect recollection to offer perfect peace. Psalm 91:16 gives you this sacred anchor. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. Salvation not just from sin, but from mental torment, from sleepless worry, from the relentless pursuit of making everything right in your own strength. God's salvation is wholeness, even when your thoughts feel scattered. And tonight He's offering that wholeness to you, not when you fix it all, but when you let Him carry what you can't. Tonight's night prayer is for the soul weary of its own thoughts. Lord, I'm tired of revisiting the same fears. I'm tired of evaluating every word like it determines my worth. I'm tired of the way my mind refuses to let me rest. But you promise to satisfy me, not with answers, but with salvation. Save me tonight from my own mind. Wrap me in the calm that only your Spirit brings. Help me release what I cannot reword. Show me that I don't have to replay what you've already redeemed. That's not a weak prayer. That's a holy release. Pope Leo XXVI once said, "The mind is a mighty servant, but a terrible master. Let God rule it, or it will rule you." And maybe tonight, your greatest act of faith is not in having the right thought, but in surrendering the exhausting ones to the God who never loses peace. Psalm 23 closes your day like a whispered lullaby. I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Not when you're perfect, not when you've made peace with every memory. Now, tonight, with the noise, with the questions, with the open loops in your heart, God's house is your house, and it's filled with rest for the restless. This is where you sleep, not on top of your regrets, but beneath God's refuge, not in the clarity of what was said or unsaid, but in the shelter of the one who sees it all and still calls you beloved. You don't need to manage the night. You need only to meet God in it. And He's already there, waiting to hush your heart with peace. What recurring thought are you ready to surrender tonight? How would your evening change if you believed that salvation includes mental peace? Are you willing to let God's presence satisfy you more than mental clarity? God satisfies me with peace, not performance. Psalm 91:16. I dwell with God tonight as I am. Psalm 23:6. My thoughts bow to the Prince of Peace. Isaiah 9:6, paraphrased. Someone you love is trapped in mental loops that steal their sleep. Send this night prayer to them. Let them feel the safety of being known, even when confused. Let God's peace hush the noise and welcome them home to rest. Some things can't be undone, not with a better explanation, not with a carefully crafted apology, not even with time. There are words you've spoken that may never be forgotten, moments that may never come back for editing, and yet, even in that hard truth, there is this greater one. God redeems what you cannot repair. His mercy is not limited to what's fixable. His healing is not dependent on your clarity. Psalm 91:15-16 offers you this promise. He will call on me, and I will answer him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. That word, salvation, includes your soul, your mind, and even your most painful memories. You are not bound to what you can't change. You are beloved still. And the beauty of that truth is that your healing doesn't depend on the perfect response. It depends on God's unwavering grace. Tonight's night prayer is a full surrender. God, I release the things I've tried and failed to make right. I release the relationships that drifted after something I said. I release the spaces where my voice caused more distance than healing. I trust you with the aftermath. I trust you with what I broke. I trust you to bring beauty, even from what I can't touch anymore. This is not an escape from accountability. It is an embrace of mercy. Pope Leo the Cavalry once wrote, "Where repentance has no bridge, mercy builds one." Let that bridge carry you tonight, not into forgetting, but into freedom. You can remember without reopening the wound. You can be humbled without being haunted. You can rest, not because it was resolved, but because it was redeemed. Psalm 23 speaks this final word over your day. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. All the days, including today. Even the one filled with stumbles and awkwardness and misfires. Mercy is still following, peace is still pursuing, and you are still welcome at God's table. That's the miracle of grace. It doesn't wait for your perfection. It comes into your brokenness and builds something holy out of it. Tonight, as you lay your head down, you are not defined by what you regret. You are defined by the one who redeems. The night does not close with regret. It closes with grace. What broken moment do you still feel responsible to fix? Can you believe that God is already at work in the places you can't reach? How does it feel to release the past into God's hands tonight? God redeems what I cannot repair. Psalm 91:15. Mercy builds a bridge where I cannot. Psalm 23:6. I rest in salvation, not perfection. Ephesians 2:8. There's someone in your life carrying guilt that's long past its weight. Share this night prayer with them. Let them know God is not waiting for them to fix it. He's already reaching across the divide with mercy. Let grace be the final voice that sings them to sleep.